Hey again, it's Chris with Chris's Comments. It's Wednesday, September 14th, 2022. Today is going to be another unscripted segment. I read in the news that Sweden or Switzerland is doing an anti-immigration bill and all this good stuff and all this rhetoric about the people of hate that are just tired of all of these immigrants and all this stuff, and crime has risen and all this other crap. And I understand that. I understand that when it comes to two cultures sharing a piece of land, there's going to be complications. Crime is going to be high. You know, it always is. There's always some kind of criminal that makes it across the border and tries to do the crap that they did over here, and all this stuff. Here's something that I don't understand, though. When you got a culture that comes into your territory, why don't you just teach that culture the laws that pertain to your lands, and you know, I mean, and respect their beliefs and everything, but just don't let the migrants use their beliefs to run over and ruin your country. You know, I still find that very difficult to understand how that's such a dilemma. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's not just over there in Switzerland and in Germany. I think they also had a problem with the Middle Eastern migrants that went there when ISIS kicked them out. You had Middle Eastern people that were, you know, attacking women and stuff because women weren't covered and all this crap. When you got something like that, dude, just jail those guys, imprison them, or deport them, and if not both. You know, make it worth the taxpayer dollars, keeping them behind those bars for a good while. You know, teach them a lesson. Because that's all Sharia law BS anyway. A woman can't freely walk around. That's that's BS. A woman can't freely walk around with clothed only covering the certain parts of her anatomy. You know. And that's all. You know, that's total BS. You can't shun down somebody like that. If she's covering herself, the private parts, the way she's supposed to, it's fine. You know, if that's too much for these immigrants that come over to our country or their country or this person's or that country, then, you know, leave, send them out, send them home, boot them out, all this other crap. You honestly can't live amongst us without attacking somebody because of covered private parts, and only covered private parts. You know, screw you, dude. Get the fuck out of here. And oh, excuse me. Sorry, this is the YouTube one. You know, forget you. Get out of here. Go somewhere else. You know. And the same thing applies to Switzerland, where the problems of the crime arise over there, and the same things arise over in Germany, where women were being attacked at a festival, which was kind of stupid because it's a festival. I think it was New Year's, and there was some couple of group of friends, you know, like Friends, you know, the roommates and all that stuff, like a television show. Somebody that fits along that standards, group of friends that went out to go party, and they got attacked by the Middle Eastern migrants that made themselves comfortable in Germany, which was bizarre. But at the same time, it's like that's also very clear that their cultural hate that derives them to do something like that was being you know, purposefully used and exercised in Germany, you know, amongst their citizens, which is just total wrong. It's BS. You can't do that. You're going to be running out of you run out of your own country. You can't be throwing your religious hate that you were born and raised off of in your country, you know, onto, you know, an allied country and you know, expect it to think that you're not doing anything wrong. That's BS. And what are you doing you know, honestly, what are those Middle Eastern dudes doing being tough guys with a bunch of 20-year-olds who are out having a good time? You know, if they're going to be that tough, then they can actually go back to their country and fight off ISIS like the way they were supposed to from the beginning. Okay? You don't come over to another country and act like tough guys and badasses and all this other shit. morally correct and all this other crap. When you pussied out of your own, you ran like pussies out of your own country, No, absolutely not. And that is what needs to be instilled into the minds of these migrants that go into Germany, that go into Switzerland, that come over here in America. You can't be this douchebag attacker, accuse somebody of being an infidel and all this other crap, and all this stuff when you're being too much of a pussy, being running out of your own country. No, absolutely not. Same thing with my fellow Latinos. Whether you're from Mexico, whether you're a Mexican like myself, or whether you're fucking Venezuelan. Excuse me, sorry about that. Freaking Venezuelan, Argentinian, whatever, El Salvadoran. You got no business coming over here and trying to be boss. When you got beaten, when you got your butt whooped, and you're running for your own life like a pussy out of your own country. No, you don't do that. You don't do that crap. You come over here, you be good, you follow the rules, you follow the laws, and that's it. Because if you're not doing that with somebody like me, you're just getting subjected to people of hate who don't even want you here to begin with. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. And now it's gotten to the point to where nobody was doing anything correctly, running it the plain and simple method, to where now in Switzerland you got people of hate that are winning political jobs and running their country, and now there's a ban on immigration. Instead of keeping the good people and booting out the rest, or imprisoning them, teaching them a lesson by imprisoning them. You got so many people that come over here and they want to impose their way of living on a country, and that's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And a lot of people out there right now are thinking, well, what about you Americans? You Americans do this all the time. And blah, 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 blah. Okay, none of us are running from America. Okay? Yeah, it's still wrong to impose our crap onto your country. During a war or after a war or something like that. True. And as you could see throughout the course of time, it's completely worthless. Look at Japan. We bombed that damn country. And now they're doing better than us. Okay? We tried imposing our Western ways on them. Well, they adapted some of that commerce crap, but they wound up kicking it into full gear to support their own nation. And they're doing fantastic. They even had a power plant meltdown, and they recovered from it already. Here we get something torn down and it's done forever and all this other stuff. We got bridges breaking apart and all this, and the only thing we can think of, well, let's build a different bridge instead of just simply repairing it. So yeah, you got a point. And yeah, Americans have imposed themselves and all this other garbage. But you can clearly see how far that went anyway. You can see it didn't go that far anyway. Okay? It didn't really get far anyway. Everybody's back to doing their own thing and actually rebuilding themselves and all this stuff while we're at each other's throats. So, you can chill out with that what about you guys crap. Okay? That's not going, that only gets you so far. But yeah, it just boggles my mind so much as to why the countries don't get, any country that accepts migrants, be a whole lot more orderly, as opposed to, picketing to go away, or just letting them waltz on in and commit crimes. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I'm hoping that that ban on immigration thing fails over in Switzerland, and the only thing that works is that they get themselves together and pick themselves up and actually work together to stopping the high crimes that's going on over there, to stopping the people that are being douchebags, to convince to convince the migrants that the no ratting on your own people crap gets abolished. Okay, here in Texas, this is a prime example of what I mean. A Mexican national comes over here, commits some crime. I'm gonna report his ass. You know, plain and simple. I'm calling the cop on him. Screw him. You know, a fellow Texan commits a hate crime to a migrant. I'm calling the cop on his ass. You know, plain and simple. You don't do hate crimes, man. Hate crimes ain't cool. Texas, you know, here in Texas, it's a prime example of that. You got all these people coming down here. You got the KKK from the time of my youth. They get pushed out by gangs. Gangs wither away. They're now down to reduce to cliques. Cliques don't really have much power except for whatever woman they can beat up and put a price tag on her ass. You know, like a bunch of pussies, you know, a bunch of cowards. You know, and San Antonio, especially here in San Antonio, we still move on. You know, we still move on. We got it to where it's so flexible that we had El Chapo, who was captured. He's a cartel leader. He was captured outside of San Antonio, but he was brought in San Antonio because nobody here has any loyalty to him. You know, he got busted. He got busted, plain and simple. You know, it's very mind-boggling, and this is where we San Antonians say you all are Texans. You just don't know it yet, because somewhere down the line you have to come down to grounds to where we are. You know, he did the crime, he does the time. That still goes on here in San Antonio. That's still a good saying. That's still a good rule of thumb. It's still a ways to go. It's not a bad way to live either. You know? It just boggles my mind how you don't unite to root out the douchebags. You know? I don't get that. I see somebody committing a hate crime on a migrant, I'm reporting his ass. And that's if I'm not shooting him myself or kicking his ass myself or, you know, stabbing him, you know, whatever. You know, and vice versa. I see some migrant that comes over here, starts victimizing somebody. Hell, that guy's going to get his butt whooped from here all the way back to the border, you know, if not killing him, if not running him over with my car, you know. And that's if I can't call the police in time because, you know, he's too busy beating somebody to death or something. You know, I can't exactly call the, you know, I would feel very stupid, you know. He's beating her. She's losing consciousness. He's got her down on the ground. He's smashing her skull in. She's now dead. You know, I can't see myself doing that. I would literally run over the guy with my car, you know, or, you know, I'd beat him with a rock or something. You know, it just doesn't make any sense to, it doesn't make any sense not to be united with people that are going to do good hand in hand with each other. It doesn't make any sense to hate everybody any more than it is to just open the door to everybody and accept things the way they are. I don't get that. But that's my spiel. And I'm actually I'm cut it off right there. If you guys got any kind of opinion or whatever, go ahead and say it. But please stop with the rhetoric. Okay? No matter what subject I've touched on so far, the majority of you that are sending messages, you're just saying the same repeated crap that somebody else has said and that everybody else has passed along, and it falls short on this man's readers, on this man's specs, because it's the same bull crap. You know, what am I doing taking the time to open up your email to read the same thing that's already been broadcasted on the news, that's already being said on the radio, that's already being read on the internet? You know, it's gotten so repetitive to the point to where all I'm looking at are keywords, and then that's it. Swipe, change the channel, you know, look up something else, change the channel on the TV. So, yeah, I mean, if you got some kind of info or shared information, by all means, But if you're going to be passing on something that's been said from some spiritual leader to a regular commentator to a politician to a damn priest or minister, something that everybody already says and all this other crap, dude, just go away. Go away. You're wasting my time. You're wasting your time. And it's just not worth paying attention to you. So yeah, but if there's those of you out there who are not following, who are actually thinking outside the box or looking at the issue, and got something to say on your mind concerning it, by all means, send it to me. I'd love to read it. I'd love to share with you my info, as well as accept yours, accept your information as well. But yeah, all the rhetoric. So it's the majority of you are just rhetoric repeaters, and that's just pathetic. It's 100% pathetic. So that's the spiel for today. I'm going to cut it off before the 20-minute mark. How about that? I got a short one today. Yeah, y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. We'll catch y'all later. This is Chris with Chris's Comments, signing out.